Charan, are you here? Are you with us?
Yes, Akhil.
Okay. So did you get a chance to set up the Salesforce org and
Bro, I joined.
okay, hi Nelson.
Hi, bro.
So did you guys get a chance to set up the Salesforce org and create the custom application, the brand new custom application?
No, bro, I have not done this, We'll
Okay.
do it today.
But at least did you set up the Salesforce org?
Yeah, I'm trying to, do that. Due to some issue in my laptop, I'm not able to,
Okay.
do it.
Practice well, Charan. Once you
Yeah,
practice,
sure.
you will get the. That's how about you and Manoj.
Bro, I have tried, bro. Give me 2 minutes. I will share my screen and laptop.
Sure. Maybe we'll take that in the last. We'll start the
Yeah.
session now.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Good morning. Let me share my screen real quick. So now we are into day 3, Salesforce admin. So today we'll discuss about Salesforce data model, like how the Salesforce data model is designed and how it behaves, how the uh, how about the relations, how they are mapped. We'll discuss everything in detail, like what is data model, and in the data model what all we have. Like yesterday we discussed about application. Now we discuss about objects, fields, records, and standard versus custom objects, standard versus custom fields. We'll discuss everything in detail, and we'll discuss type of objects. We'll try to finish this in today's session. If it gets lengthy, we'll switch to tomorrow, but we'll try. Standard objects, custom objects, and big objects, platform events, and relationships in Salesforce, and the fields. What are the various types of relations? These are most important, which we overcome in real time. The major one is lookup versus master data relationship, and schema builder. How we will use the schema builder to visually see the relationships between the various Salesforce entities, and we'll have some advanced concepts and so on and so. Without getting late, let's switch to introduction to data model in Salesforce. So what exactly is data model? So a data model in Salesforce defines how business data is structured, stored, and related within the platform. So the data.
Bro, 1 minute.
Okay. So here the data model is something which is the structure of the Salesforce metadata, structure of the Salesforce application, objects, fields, etc. Like it includes objects, fields, relationships. So as you can see in this visual representation, this shows like how the Salesforce data model is. It includes the all the Salesforce data at one place, like the structure of the data, structure of the Salesforce data, and why it is important. Organizes business data for clarity and consistency, enables scalability as your org goes, supports automation and reporting by structured data flows, improves performance and maintainability of apps built in Salesforce. So for every project, what we take, and for every project, we'll have a data model. In every company, they'll follow some. In every corporate company, they'll follow some defined data model. They'll have they'll like have what relations they should have, and they'll define the data model. And just data integrated use schema will usually use your data model and spot gaps. So this is about data model. In short, data model is something which is the structure of the Salesforce data we use, structure of our project, structure of our application. Let's consider an banking application. So what all involved in the banking application, what all objects are involved, and what are fields are involved, and what are the relationships between those objects, everything in one place, we can see in the data model. That's how about data model. Now, key building blocks of data model. So there are some elements in the data model. Most common elements in the data model. One is called Salesforce objects. Objects are something, as we discussed, object represents the database tables. We discussed, right? Application, inside the application, in order to hold that application data, we'll have objects in the backend. Objects are nothing but the tables. Object represents the database tables, store business data. Types, like we have standard objects like account, contact, and we can create a number of custom objects. So inside that objects, uh, table inside the table is a application. Inside that application, we'll have a number of tables, and table is called object. Inside that object, we'll have fields. Depends on our requirement. We'll create the fields inside the object. Column defined inside, and that are called columns. Define what type of data is stored. Like example, we have an account object. In that account object, in order to store the name of the account, I'll define a field as text field, because name is something which is a text, correct? uh, name can't be a number. So based on our requirement, and let's consider, if you want to define the account number, so for that we'll use the number field. And if you want to define the account start date, for that we'll use the date fields. So it all depends on our requirement. Based on that, we'll create the fields in the object, and fields are called columns. Table inside the fields are called columns. By using these objects and fields, we'll create the rows inside the tables. These are called records. If you see here, this is the data model schema. Objects, and inside the objects we'll have fields. By combining these objects and fields, we'll create the records, individual rows within an object. Every record has a unique ID in Salesforce. So for everything in Salesforce, we'll have some unique ID. So whenever we create any record in Salesforce, any object will have some unique ID. The reason for it is like, in order to switch to that record, in order to avoid duplicate records, in order to avoid redundancy, we'll have Salesforce will give an unique ID in for every record. So represents real world scenarios. Example, one customer or one employee. So let's take this example. Inside the account, by using this text fields and number fields, we'll create the records. Text is for account name, and number is for account number. So we'll create the individual records. Let's say Manoj. Manoj, inside the account, Manoj name is Manoj. Sorry, name is Manoj, and number is his account number, and other one is Charan. Other row is Charan. Charan's name and his account number. So we can store n number of rows inside the table. And the fourth part is relationships. So relationships define how we connect various objects, how we connect from object to object, how we share the data from object to object. We can't store everything in a single object, so we'll use a purpose of relationships to connect multiple objects. The various types of relationships here are lookup, master detail, and we also have many to many relationships. We'll discuss this in detail now. And schema defines how objects or fields are organized, managed visually using the schema builder. So are we good at this slide? whatever we are discussing since 2 days, we are discussing again. Application, inside the application we'll have objects, fields, table. Table is called object, fields are called columns. By using this, we'll create the records. And the new one is relationships. So are we good to move to next slide, or do you have any questions? Okay, I'll take it as now. Company information. Okay. So types of Salesforce objects. So here in the last slide we discussed what exactly are Salesforce objects. Now we'll discuss what are the various types of objects in Salesforce. Various categories of objects in the Salesforce. In order to store the application data like insurance application or healthcare application or banking application, what all objects what all standard objects Salesforce will use and what all custom objects we can use. So standard objects are something like pre-built by Salesforce for common CRM purpose. Examples: account, contact, lead, opportunity case. So these are something which Salesforce gives whenever we create a Salesforce account or whenever we set up a Salesforce account. These are some common objects because in every cloud, in every project, in every application, these are few of the common objects which we need. Like if we take an example of banking application, that banking application, in order to store that bank account holder name, we'll use this account, and in order to store his personal details, we'll use this contact object. And if you get the customer through lead, we'll store that customer in lead object. And in the opportunity, we'll store the revenue we got from the customer. And case is something like if the customer see any issues with the application, they will use the case. So these are most common standard objects. But if our requirement is not sufficient with this standard objects, we'll go for custom objects. So in Salesforce, custom objects are created by admins or developers. Like we can create a n number of custom objects to meet specific business requirements. And if you notice here, standard objects are defined as just account, contact, lead, opportunity, case. But in case of custom objects, we'll see this underscore C has been appended, because just to differentiate between in Salesforce, just to differentiate between standard and custom objects, uh, we will like Salesforce will append the underscore C if we create any custom objects in the Salesforce. And big objects.
Akhil, can you rename the slide?
Yeah. That's fine. Like we can do it. Okay. External objects. External objects are used to access data stored outside Salesforce. External objects are something like these custom and standard objects are reside inside the Salesforce, but external objects are something which will reside in the Salesforce. The purpose of these external objects is to get the data from third-party systems. Let's suppose we have an health care application or banking application, HDFC banking application. I want to get the data from other banking applications as well, in order to for any requirement, I want to get the data from other banking applications. So for that, I'll set up the external objects in the Salesforce and do some integrations for that applications and get the data. So in order to get the data from third party system, from one system to another system, we'll use the external objects. And big objects. Big objects are designed to handle very large volumes of data. Mostly will not use these big objects. Like they are something like they're like custom objects, but they're used to handle the large volumes of data. Their memory size would be more. used mainly for historical and archive data and platform events. This is also will use in real time in order to integrate with third-party systems. Supports event-driven architecture for real-time integrations. API names ends with underscore underscore C. So for this platform events, it ends with underscore underscore E. Key idea different objects. Okay. So these are the various types of objects in Salesforce. Basic definitions and new navigation. Standard objects. Standard objects are created and provided by Salesforce by default, designed to support common CRM process, sales, service, marketing, available in every Salesforce org. So as we seen yesterday, we have these objects, right? Whenever we switch to Sales Cloud and Service Cloud, let me show you. If you are stuck somewhere, please raise your voice. So once after creating my Salesforce account, if I switch to any application, I can see these objects which were already provided by Salesforce, right? Account, contact. These are very common objects which we can use for standard, which we can use for standard as well as custom applications. So by keeping that in mind, Salesforce has provided some common generic objects which we can use for custom and standard applications. So in Salesforce, for every object, we'll have some prefix. We'll have some prefix at the starting point in order to identify that object. Let's suppose for account starts with 001, 001, and for contact it starts with 003, and for opportunity it starts with 006, and for lead it starts with 0OQ, and case for 500, user 005. So if you go to accounts and go to, this is the table, account table. Inside the table, and these are the fields, these are the columns what we discussed. If you go to any of the row inside the account, in the URL you can see, right? You can see 001. The prefix is 001. It starts with 001 because in order to make it unique, in order to make it like unique in the Salesforce, for every object will have some prefix, unique prefix. If you go to contact table, in the contact table, if you go to any row, it starts with 003. So like we can I mean, if we use this things, like we can directly navigate to records. Let's suppose I'm here and I'm on home.com 003. So so we can navigate to the records in the Salesforce directly. Like it has some prefix here for contact 003, and for opportunity, if you go to opportunity table, it starts with 006. So that defines the unique prefix for every object in the Salesforce. That might be standard or that might be custom. Have predefined API names, no underscore underscore C. So the difference between standard and custom is standard objects will not have suffixes underscore underscore C. Have fixed record ID prefixes. First three characters identify the object. As I said, you first three characters identify the object for every record. If you open any of the account record, the prefix is first three characters is 001. Cannot be deleted, only customized. Form the foundation of Salesforce CRM, and the standard objects are not allowed to be deleted in Salesforce. Custom objects. Custom objects are something like created by system administrators or developers, like admins or developers. Our purpose, based on our purpose. If we consider any um, insurance application, so for that, if I want to build an insurance application and I want to store that insurance application data, I might not, these objects might not be suitable for me. These tables are not suitable for me. I'll have a data like insurance details or insurance types. So for that, I need some custom objects. For that, I need some custom objects. Or like take an example of onboarding project, onboarding application. For that, I need a HR object to store the HR details. So for that, we need to build the custom objects based on our requirement. So designed to meet organization specific business requirements. Examples: employee underscore C. These also has some prefix generated 3 character in order to identify that custom object. Projects. If you go to, I have some custom objects built in. If you go to, this is a custom object I built in. If you take any records, see, this will also have some prefix AOA, 3 character prefix, and this custom objects has ends with underscore C. API name ends with underscore C. Get a unique system generated record ID prefix. Can be deleted if no longer required. In case of custom objects, they can be deleted. Standard objects can't be deleted. Extend Salesforce functionality beyond Salesforce standard CRM. Key insert. Standard objects built in Salesforce CRM structure. Custom objects we can build based on our requirement. So are we good with standard and custom objects? Answer me at least. Are we good? Hello? Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Are we good? Or like any confusion? Do you want me to iterate again?
So just repeat
Okay.
again.
So simple. Let's take an onboarding application. Let's take this as an let's go to an application. Insurance application. So like we were working in a company where we had insurance application, and we are working on insurance application. This is a third party insurance application like Policy Bazaar or like whatever it is. And this insurance application will have integrations from all the insurances, all the insurance providers like HDFC, Axis, Max Life, Star Health Insurance. So in order to like we want all the insurance application data inside this application. Like for that application data, we will create the objects in Salesforce. We'll create the objects in Salesforce. So these what exactly is account? It's a standard or custom object?
Standard.
Standard. Correct. So I used one standard object because I can repurpose this standard object for my purpose. And if you look at this customer demographic, insurers, documents, and these are all called custom objects because Salesforce won't give these objects. So whatever the standard objects which we have, we can use those. But if our requirement is something which we need custom implementation, custom objects, then we will build the custom objects. So for holding this insurance application data, I'll have account data. Account is something like a table object. Object is like a table. In the table, I'll have all the insurance related accounts. Accounts are like insurance, our clients, our insurance, the one who takes insurance from our website, from our system. will have all their data, like accounts like nurse account. He's the one who took insurance from a third party system. Will maintain his data, and Charan will maintain his data. All the data will be maintained in the accounts. And for this insurers, in this insurers, will maintain the insurers whatever we have. Uh, we have tied up with Axis, HDFC, Tata, LIC insurance. So we will in this insurers will have the data related to our insurers, like we what all insurers we have tied up with. So for that, I created an insurance object. Inside that, I created a field called insurance name in order to store the insurance name. And this all is called table. Inside the table, I created the columns, and with the columns, I'm creating the rows. That's all. That's how it is. If you go to accounts, so this this is table object, and in the table I'm using fields, account name, account site, phone, account owner, alias. So these are called fields or columns. By using these fields, I'm creating the rows, I'm creating the various accounts, I'm creating the various customer record rows. One is ABC. He's a customer of our insurance application, and the other one is Burlington Textiles, H Communications. So these are all customers of our application. So are we good now? Still confused? Okay, we'll go to the activity, then you'll get some understanding. So fields are called columns in fields can be called columns in Salesforce. Types of fields in Salesforce. We have various types of fields. So in order to store the requirement based on our need, we'll create the fields. Let's suppose if you want to store account name, the customer name for our insurance application, the customer name for our maybe for the onboarding application, for the HR name, or the candidate name. This name is called text. This is called text, right? Shivakumar is called text, right? So in order to store that Shivakumar data, I'll create a text field in Salesforce. And in order to store the employee ID, I'll create a number field in Salesforce. In order to store the date of birth, I'll create a date field in Salesforce. And in order to, this pick list is something like it's a drop down. Let's suppose let's take this employee example, Shivakumar. Like we have various departments. One is finance department in a company, like in an organization. We have finance department, and IT department, or like insurance department, whatever it is. We want to store the Shivakumar data, and we want to store for which department he belongs to. For that, we'll create a pick list with various values. Departments as finance, department as finance, IT, and insurance department, etc., etc. And this is multi-select. We'll discuss this in detail next. Okay, and checkboxes. Checkbox is something like true or false. True or false. Let me show that in real time. Checkbox. I can find. So checkbox is like active. Not question. Checkbox is like we'll have true or false values inside the checkbox. We'll create those all those fields going forward so that you'll understand. Let's take this as employee is active. We can decide this employee. Employee activeness with the help of checkbox field type, and we also have formula fields to calculate the formulas. Like we can calculate the age based on the today's date minus date of birth, and we can have lookup fields. As I said, you lookups linked to other objects. So manager to contact, employee, manager to contact, and we'll have currency fields to showcase his salary. We'll have email fields to showcase his email. All the fields like we also these all the types of fields which Salesforce provides: email field, phone field, text area, geolocation, URL. So we can use this all fields to generate the columns for the object, columns for the table. These are all called fields. So what exactly is this account name field type? What type of this field?
Standard field.
Standard field, the type of this field. It's a text or it's a number or it's a currency or it's a pick list. What exactly is this?
Text.
That's all. Whatever we see in the front end, we'll create that in the back end. If you go to account name, account name, it's a data type name, and you can see the type as text. And if you go to customer demographics, first name, you go to this object, first name, text field. So in order to store the name, I am using the text field. In order to store the date of birth, I am using the date and field. So based on our requirement, we'll create the fields. Okay. So these are our various field types in Salesforce. Demo, create talent custom object. ABC Consulting wants to build a talent management system in Salesforce to track candidate skills. Data is stored in making tracking and reporting the company. So create a talent object creation. Onboarding. Let me add this application to. So can someone tell me how to give access to my user in for that application which we created? Yesterday we have created an application, right? I can't see that application. I would like to add that application access to my user. How to do that? Employee onboarding application. We created this application right yesterday. We discussed it, like how to add it to my user. God. We need to look for the profile for the user, right? If we provide profile access to that our user, we can access that application. Boom, if we refresh this page, till now I was not able to access that application, but if you see, I can access the application. Got it? Okay. So here, like our employee onboarding application needs a custom object. For standard objects, we have used contacts. For the employee information, we have used contacts. But my requirement is out of the scope. I want to create a talent custom object. ABC Consultancy wants to create a talent management system in Salesforce to track things currently. So earlier, like they are using some legacy methods to store the data, making tracking and reporting difficult. The company decides to create a talent custom object. A custom object name talent should be created, and talent ID must be the auto number field and basic information, skills details, compensation details, availability tracking process. So we'll discuss all. Shiva, shall we cover all the fields in today's session, or like just the custom object creation?
Just custom object creation and create some sample fields. So
Some fields.
remaining field they will do as active.
Yeah, as an activity. So we'll create a custom object naming talent. Our employee onboarding app, we need a custom object to store the talent data, employee data. So for that, my purpose is to go and create the custom object. So in order to create the custom object in Salesforce, whatever the metadata if you want to access, you should click on setup. What do you want to create? No? Hello? Answer me, guys. What do you want to create? Did you got the requirement?
Profile.
Are you creating profile here? No. So we have a employee onboarding application. For that application, I want to store the talent data. So what I should do? I should create the table, right? Talent table in order to store the talent data. So table is called object in Salesforce. In order to create the object in Salesforce, we should go to object manager, and create custom object, because we are going with custom object. Are you good till this point?
Okay.
Yeah, because our employee onboarding application wants to store the talent data. For that, I need to build a table, right? I have contact, but I want the talent data. In order to store the talent data, I need to build a talent table. The table is called object in Salesforce. So in order to create the object in Salesforce, click on setup, object manager, create custom object. So what is our object name? Talent. And this talent object holds the multiple talents. So whatever we create in Salesforce, it's a good practice to add the description of the description of it. So this object holds the talent information. So whenever we are creating the object in Salesforce, we should at least have one field. This is called account name, or like a talent name. We should at least have one field in Salesforce, because let's take this example. This is an contact is an standard object. If you don't have at least one field in Salesforce, how we can insert the data? What is the use of that object creation? So at least we should have one field in Salesforce. So by default, it gives the name field as default. We will say it as talent name, and this talent name. Okay. For now, what we'll do is we'll say it as talent ID in order to generate some unique ID, talent ID, and I'll make this as auto number. If you look at those fields in Salesforce, the fields section, uh, employee ID, auto number. Okay, so auto number is something like in order to generate some unique number, unique ID for every talent we load in the Salesforce, we'll use this auto number field type. It's a field type in Salesforce. If you go to fields, if you go to new in in any of the object, we'll see auto number field. So a system generated sequence number that displays using a displayed format you define. This number is automatically incremented for each new record. So it's like if we like if we apply for any insurance also, we'll get some unique ID, right? For every invoice also, whatever it is, we'll get some unique ID, right? That is called in the backend. It was implemented in the auto number format. So I'll start. This is my auto number field talent ID. Uh, I'll say, and the number is 4 digits. It should be 4 digits, and it should start with triple zero one. 0001. And these are few options available while creating the object. Like for now, we'll enable this. We'll discuss this in later sessions. This also we can enable it. So here the deployment status is something which decides whether the object should be deployed to other environments. So let's consider this is an let's consider we have a our application is onboarding application. Our project is onboarding employee onboarding project. For that, we have a new requirement to create the talent object. So do we directly create in production? Salesforce environments. Do you guys remember we discussed about Salesforce environments, right? Production, sandboxes. Yeah. So, do we directly create in production if we get any new requirement?
Sandbox we have to.
Sandbox, perfect. Sandboxes. So let's assume this is an sandbox. So I got a requirement to create the talent object to store the talent data. So the meaning of this radio button is if we click as in development, and this object can't be moved to other environments from the sandbox to production. It can't be moved if you click on in development because it's still in development. If we make it as deployed only, then we are able to move this talent object to other environments. So that's the meaning of this. When like it's a global search. In this search, global search, if you want to find that objects data, we should use that. And add notes and we can add this. So there's an option like if you look at this checkbox. So this is called checkbox we were discussing. So if we enable this checkbox, which will create a launch new custom tab wizard after saving the custom object. So what is the meaning of this is, let's suppose I created the we'll disable this and see first. So I'm disabling it for time being. Save this way. Must include sequence number. Okay, start with 100 and starting number is 1001. Okay, I'm using this. Invalid substitution variable. What's wrong with this? Making first input. What exactly is this issue here? Let's take this. Yes. 1 to 55. Okay. There might be some catch issue there. Mm. So we created this talent object. We created this talent object, but are we able to see this talent object here? I want to load a new talent. I want to load Charan, who is a new talent for our employee onboarding application. How to load that? I don't see anything here. I want to load that. I want to load the talent. So for that, we disabled the checkbox, right? Launch new tab. So we need to have tab. Tab is something which is to display the data, load the data. Object holds the data in the backend, but we want tab to insert the data, load the data, right? So in order to create the tab for that, let's go to custom. Go to tabs. Tab. New tab. Object. For what object we want to create the tab? Talent, right? Talent. This tab is used to load and display the talent data. Next. Next. So these are the other options while creating the tab. So while creating the tab, we can decide to whom it should be available, to whom it should be, like whatever we create or whatever we uh, create in the Salesforce, we can decide the accessibility. For the application, we have decided the accessibility, and for the object also we can decide the accessibility, and for the tab also we can decide the accessibility. So here what it means, apply one tab visibility for all profiles. So we have three options here. One is default on, default off, tab hidden. So what exactly is default on is, if you make this option as default on, this tab would be visible by default. Would be visible by default here. And if you make it as default off, even if you create the tab also, we can't see that in the neighbor. We can't see that in the neighbor. We can't see that in the neighbor, and it's completely off. And if we make the tab as hidden, we can't see that in the neighbor, but at least we can add that in the neighbor. So by clicking on this neighbor item, it's hidden inside this. It's hidden inside the tabs. We can add that. So we'll do one thing. I'll make this default on different tab visibility. For me, I'll make it as default on. My profile is system administrator. Whatever the controlling we can do, we should control with profile only, as we discussed yesterday. Object controlling, fields controlling, tab controlling, and for the other user, standard platform user. For standard platform user, I'll make it as tab hidden. And standard user also, I'll make it as tab hidden. And see how it behaves. For all the other users, I'm making it as default on. Are you good at these three options? Default on, default off, tab hidden. Guys, are we good at these three options? When I say default on, it displays the tab here. And if the default off is checked, it won't display the tab itself. And the tab hidden is checked, the tab is hidden inside the navbar. We can add that. And other thing. So what is the purpose of this talent tab? For which application we want to use this? Do we want to use for all the applications? Answer me, guys. Like, do we want to use this for all applications? Hello. Hello. Are you guys sleeping? Hello.
Yeah, bro,
Please
we are
answer. So, yeah, do we want to use this application? So, do we want to use this tab for all the applications? What is the purpose of creating this object and tab? For storing the employee onboarding talent information, right? So we want this only for employee onboarding app. We don't need for other applications. Do we need this talent tab for insurance application? Not needed, right? This part we can.
okay.
This part also we can decide. We can decide everything in Salesforce while creating. So
Okay.
now I created the tab, and if I quickly refresh this page, see, boom, I can see the talents tab. And this tab is something which is shown in the UI. The data is whenever we load data in using this tab, that will reside inside the object which we created.
Okay.
And see, like I enabled this tab for only employee onboarding information. If I switch to other applications, I'll not see the talent tab. So that's the power of Salesforce. Like we can decide to whom we can to which profile it should be visible, to which user it should be visible, to which application it should be visible. So we can control everything. If you go to employee onboarding information app, you can see. So we created a custom object and we created a talent ID, must be auto number field, and we'll create few fields. We'll create this one text field, email, text field. Okay. So in the talent, if I click on new, I'll not have anything because talent ID is something which is an auto number. It's automatically generated and it's read only. We can't input the data. So for this, in order to store the talent name, I'll create the name field, full name. So in order to create the fields for that specific object, should click on setup. So fields, where we should create the fields in the object, right? So we will go to object manager and search for talent. If you click on this talent object, we'll have the child components here. One is fields, page levels, record pages. So fields. So as you can see, these are the standard Salesforce fields which were generated by Salesforce upon creating the object. Talent ID, this is the one common field, and owner. Owner is something which will stamp who created this record, who created the data, so that we'll get to know, and who created by, and who last modified by, and who, like which user modified it. So I'll create a custom field now. Full name. Full name is what type of field it is? It's a number field or what field? I want to store the talent name. So it's what type of field I need to select? The type of that field.
Text or
Text. So I'll say it as full name. So, full name. And while creating the fields also, we'll see various options. So length. Length is something like we can decide the length of that name. Let's example share or side. Like we can decide how many characters that this full name should accept. So by default, I will say it as 255 characters. If we exceed these characters, it won't accept. And do not allow duplicate values. We don't need these duplicates. And we can use this checkbox to add this to report types. It's not much needed. Once we click on this next screen, as you can see, so while creating the application also, we got the profiles information. While creating the object also, we got the profiles information. And while creating the fields also, we got this profile information. So for everything, whatever we do in Salesforce, we can control and restrict the accessibility. So this full name field is inside the talent object, and we need own like for the profiles. What are profiles we need it? We don't need for we need for system administrator as I am a user, and we need this for standard platform user. Standard user. I only need for these three profiles. Next, and we also like define. We should also should define the layout. So with layout is something like if you open this record, this is the layout. This is the layout. Layout is the backend structure. Backend structure of the row. Backend structure of the record. So I want this talent name field to be added to the talent layout, page layouts. You go to this page layouts inside the object. We'll have the talent layout. So I want this field to be added to talent layout. And click on save and new. So we created full name field and email, phone, you guys create address. Yeah, primary skill. We created the text field. Now I'll create the pick list field. So primary skill. So primary skill, primary in the primary skill, we'll have various values like primary skills like Java. Let's take this example. Pick list. So primary skill for talent primary skill. In this, we'll have various values. His primary skill is Java. We'll have all these values: Java, C++, Apex, LWC, or so this is the pick list field which we are creating. Pick list is something which will have the set of values in the field as a drop down. We'll show that in the display values after not needed. We don't want to show it alphabetically. Use first value as default value. No restrict. So the meaning of this checkbox is so restrict pick list to the values defined in the value set. So if you check this checkbox, the user can select only these values. If he is trying to select out of these values, we'll see the exception. And the field name is primary skill. What is the purpose of it? This field is the purpose of this field is to store the primary skill data. Okay, add this to portal and okay, add this field to existing custom report type. Next, see, we got the profile visibility. Whatever the fields which we create, whatever the applications which we create, what are the objects we create, we can handle those. And add it to this layout. So we will be able to create. Okay. Okay, so we done creating two fields. Now let's go and insert the rows in the talent data. Employee onboarding app. I'll go to talent information, a talent object. If you click on, okay, let's refresh this. This is how I should get this. So Salesforce is something which is totally located in the cloud. We might see a lot of catchy issues here. We are not able to see those fields. Go to page layouts and so in the layout we can see this fields, but still in the UI we're not able to see this. Name primary skill. Name primary skill. Save. If I'm seeing this in the edit page. So, primary skill. Save. I'm not able to see the fields. See, now we are able to see the fields. Are you guys noticing? Everyone, hello, hello.
Yeah. Okay.
So like we see lot of catchy issues in the Salesforce just because it's totally reside in the cloud. Sometimes it will be we will not see the information fetching from the server. I already created this field, but see now let's forget it. Now while creating the talent, I'm loading the new talent has been onboarded into our employee onboarding app, who is called Charan. I'm loading this talent Charan, and if we like we created this primary skill field also, and his expertise on C++. I'll save this data. So if you look at talents, all talents, I can see talent ID one, and let me update this. Select fields to display, full name, primary skill. See, these two talents are loaded into our Salesforce employee onboarding application. One is Narsa and the other one is Charan. Narsa is expertise in Java and Charan is expertise in C++. His primary skill is C++. So that's how we create the custom objects and create some custom fields along with standard fields. This is the standard field which we got, and these two custom fields we created. And how do we load the data into the Salesforce? So I mean that's enough for today. So what I want you guys to do is take this slide 8. So for now we created full name and primary skill field. I want you guys to create a email field. I want you guys to create a email field, phone field, address field for the candidate, for the talent. In order to store the talent email, I want to you guys to create the email field, phone field, address field, and experience field. How many years of experience he has? Uh, don't let's forget about this formula. We don't need to create it now. It has some logic. And salary field, current salary, expected salary, currency field, and also he's available for project or not. Checkbox field, and the date of joining, and the interview status pick list field. I just showed you how to create the pick list field. With all this field data, I want you to load a couple of records in the Salesforce. So are you good at the requirement? Will you be able to do this? Or any doubts? Just simple.
Akhil, uh,
Yeah,
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 so if you have been already created, Charan with C++, right?
correct.
In the previous tool. So there we need to add, the phone numbers, address, email ID. Is that correct? What you
Exactly, exactly. That's all. That's all. So whenever we create a new talent, we only see name field and primary skill. But I want you guys to uh, I want you guys to load the talent email data, talent phone data, talent address data, and talent experience, uh, current salary, expected salary, whether he's available for project or not, and it's his date of joining, and its interview status. I want you to like do all these things. So how
And
we
what
gonna do
about the
that?
checkbox, Akhil? Like
Sorry.
there is a checkbox. So to go back to that, previous one.
Uh, yeah. Available for project checkbox.
Yeah. So
This is also we can see in the check. We can see while creating the fields. So in order to create the fields inside the talent object, where we should go? First, click on setup.
setup.
Setup. After that, object manager. Because I want to go to that specific object. In order to go to that object, I need to click on object manager. And what object we have?
First,
No, name,
talent.
talent,
Okay.
talent. So this is the object. So in that object, what we need to do? Create the fields or columns, fields and relationships. and click on new. If you will find checkbox here, checkbox. Click on next. Available for project. So by default it is unchecked. By default it's unchecked. It's not checked. Available for project. This field holds the talent available for project or not. Next. I only want this field to be visible for system administrator, standard users, and the platform user. And I want this field to be added to talent layout. Click on save. See, it's again not coming. So if you don't see that field, go to page layouts. Like once after creating those fields, if you are not able to get those fields while creating the records, go to that object and click on page layouts. Click on page layouts. Setup, object manager, talent, page layouts. After creating the fields using fields and relations, click on page layouts. And click on edit this page layout. Available for project. Remove this field. This is an always visible toolbar. Remove this field from here and click on save. Now click on edit again. Add the field back. Available for project. Save. For now, I'm logging off and logging in again. I'll show some technique tomorrow in order to avoid this catching. We need to switch to dynamic pages, flexi pages. These page layouts are not much used. Employee onboarding that. Talents. New one. See, I can see this checkbox now. Manoj. And his expertise in his primary skill is Apex. And he is available for project. So now what ID we will get for this Manoj talent ID? After clicking on save, what talent ID will Manoj get? 003, right? 003. 003. Because we have 3 records. If we click new, we'll have 04. Let's. And in order to show the list views, I'll cover tomorrow, but just to show in order, once you only see the talent ID, click on this list view controls. Okay, I think we already did this for all. Okay. So Manoj, primary skill is Apex. So are you good? Just replicate, just try creating the other fields as well. Talent, in order to hold the email information, create the talent email field. And in order to store his phone number, create the phone field. In order to store his address, create the address field. And for his experience, create the number field. Uh, don't create the formula field. It's okay, you can ignore. I'll discuss tomorrow. And in order to store the salary, create the currency, expected salary, currency, date of joining, and interview status pick list. These all fields you will find in the fields and relationships. You click on no, new, uh, checkbox field, date field for storing the date of joining, currency field for storing the expected salary and current salary, and email field for storing his email, uh, number field for storing his experience, phone field for storing his phone number, tick list field for storing his interview status, text area for storing the address. Is all you can do. Are you guys good? Just try
Yes.
replicating this. So, any questions before we wrap up?
Once we start doing this,
Yeah,
practicing things,
until and unless you won't practice, you will be confused.
yeah,
Once
by
you
saying
make
it,
your hands dirty, only then you will get the things.
yeah, exactly. So,
Mm, Narsa, like, are you good? Like, do you have any questions?
yeah, no, bro.
So, create the custom object and the tab, and create few fields in that custom object. So, you guys know, right, how to create the custom object? The talent object we need to create. How to create that? Do you guys know? I just showed you, right? Setup object manager. Click on create new object. Then after inside the object fields. So if you don't have any questions, we are good to wrap. Stop the recording.